the offensive line, I don't know what the adjustment is if the guys in the middle just aren't very good. Like, you're not just picking up interior offensive linemen in the middle of the season. That doesn't happen. Remember when Cam Robinson got traded to the Vikings last season in the middle of the year, and it was like, that's weird because that never happens. There's never offensive tackles that get moved. And it's even less likely that an interior guy gets moved throughout the season. Look, will the interior of the offensive line improve as the season goes on simply because of experience and playing together, meshing? Yes, absolutely. They're going to be better Week 18 than they were on Sunday. But with that being said, when the floor is that low and you're solely banking on experience as the reason that you're getting better, the ceiling is also very low. PFF rated them the 21st ranked offensive line after Week 1. 21st. This was number 1 offensive line in the NFL last season. And sure, you can make an argument for the Eagles being 1. They were 1 or 2. 21st? Look, they'll get better. I have a very hard time imagining them cracking the top 10 again. If you're starting this low, even if you are getting better every week, the ceiling is also low. I'm very nervous that this is something that just kind of can't be fixed, and they overlooked a little bit, and as talented as the skill position players are, and the defense can be, that's kind of a separate entity, like play calling, all that. We'll get into that eventually too. But look, man, it doesn't really matter who's calling plays on offense or who your quarterback is, or who the weapons are, or who you paid and who you didn't pay, if the interior of the offensive line is just going to be that bad.
21st?
21st.
Those numbers exist when it comes to offensive line? I'm a Lions fan. I didn't know they got that low.
Oh, they get all the way to 32.
Man, that's crazy. I feel like a Bears fan right now. Yeah, look.
They didn't have a much better performance from their offensive line, too, and that's a lot to do with the meshing part that we talked about.
Yeah.
But they at least have some veteran guys like Tooney and
Jonah Jackson as well.
Jonah Jackson is
who was
somewhat
god
of a mess
awful
last season.
Well, and in that first game he was too.
Like they at least have, all right, we'll mesh together, we'll figure out the chemistry, and we've got some talent here. The Lions, what if
they just don't have talent?
What if they just don't?
Yeah, and the Bears' big thing was legitimately just a lot of procedural stuff, like just mistakenly penalties. Like
it was either 4 or 5 false starts.
Which obviously, like, that is super duper annoying, but it's also incredibly fixable.
Right.
Whereas a lot of the line stuff, I'm not saying it's not fixable, but it's a lot more difficult than just not jumping off, as a false start. So, do you feel less confident because you said you felt less confident than after the game on Sunday now, which I'm a little bit opposite because I was pretty down in the dumps just as far as, one, I was just depressed because of it's week 1, football, I was so excited, and that's how the Lions start the season.
Yeah, not fun.
2, because when you actually think about how they lost, like more of just taking my fan perspective out of the game and just looking at the game as a whole, like how the Packers dominated in essentially every single part of the game. There wasn't one positive thing to be like, well, at least the Lions did that against a good team, so they can continue to build off that and fix the other things. So that's why I felt bad. But then when I watched the Bears play, because I was honestly fearful, that first drive, Chicago, Minnesota, Monday night, I see Chicago come down relentlessly scoring, and I'm like, oh, man, like this is going to be – I'm nervous now against Chicago. And then the rest of that game happens, and I'm like, no, the Bears are still like every version of the Bears they've been the last 5 years. And so I actually feel better after that game because I would be still shocked if the Lions lose to Chicago. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, it's a right-in win. Like this is going to be an easy dub like it's been the last couple of years. But I feel better than I did after the game on Sunday, I would say.
Let me jump in here then, Kyle, because I'm not even necessarily talking about this Bears game.
Just
they're 6-point favorites, and we'll do our NFL spread picks later today too. They're 6-point favorites against the Bears. It's not this game specifically that I'm panicking about. It's the season as a whole. Like, even if they win on Sunday, I'm kind of just expecting them to be 1-2. Baltimore doesn't look beatable, and I'm still trying to figure out how the Bills won that game. Like, I think there's an argument the Ravens are still the best team in the NFL, other than maybe the Eagles. That Ravens team looked unstoppable. I don't want to go to their place. I'm not expecting the Lions to win there. And again, I fail to understand how the interior of the offensive line is a fixable issue. That seems like something, if you have a bad pass rush, you can trade for a guy like they did with Zadarius Smith. If you need another weapon, you can trade for a receiver. Those guys always get moved at some point throughout the season. Your interior of the offensive line isn't good. It's like how much better can you really get in 18 weeks? I don't know. This is uncharted territory for the Lions.
And it's scary.
To say the least.
Yeah, and I guess it's a good point to kind of zoom out rather than just the game this week, just thinking about the season as a whole. Like, yeah, it is weird when you look at how the Tigers are playing right now. A year ago, it was a little bit of the opposite before the Tigers went on their big run. And they're, like you said, they're peaking right now currently, looking like one of the better teams in the league, whereas the Lions that this city has viewed as the best team in the city for some years.
That's not the case right now.
Well, I don't know if I would go that quickly.
The Tigers,
just after week one, you're writing that in?
I'm ready to write it in. The Tigers are the number one team in Detroit right now. Until the Lions offensive line looks competent, I don't get how you can say it's the Lions. Like, they have one of the most talented rosters in football. The problem is their Achilles heel is hanging on like this. Like, their Achilles heel has been stretched so thin with 3 new guys in the interior of the offensive line. It doesn't really matter what else is happening. If you're losing there consistently, how are you supposed to have a good offense, let alone a great one?
So there's just no world that the offensive line can improve this week against Chicago?
No, I think they can improve. I think there's room for improvement with this team. But they were ranked 21st. 21st. If you're going to start that low, I don't think it's possible to climb very high. Like,
it's been 1 week. Like,
if the floor is that low, I think the ceiling is low as well. They're not going to be a dominant top 5 group this year. Like, that's
yeah, but I don't think
become very clear.
But we were not expecting that coming into the season either. Like pre-Packers game.
We thought they could still at least be good, right? We thought they were going to be a good offensive line.
You don't think at this point they can ever be good? Like, you still don't think that?
Was there any sign of it?
It's one game, Ben.
I know, and I'm not trying to overreact, but that doesn't seem something that's completely fixable in the middle of the season. Like, if there's one thing where it's like, hey, if you're going to lose here consistently, like, you probably just, like, everything kind of gets thrown out the window. It's the interior of the offensive line, specifically when you have Jared Goff as your quarterback.
Right.
And this isn't even me complaining about Jared Goff or anything like that. Like, he has shown when you set him up to succeed and you give him weapons and a great offensive line and a good play caller, when everything is perfect around him, he's capable of winning a Super Bowl. I mean, he's been to one, for crying out loud, and he's been 1/2 away from getting to a second one. When everything's perfect around Jared Goff, you can win. You can win football games. Not everything is perfect around Jared Goff right now. The interior of the offensive line is going to make Jared Goff's life very difficult this year, at least early on. And now they're looking at this Bears game, 1 o'clock Sunday in Ford Field against Ben Johnson. I don't think there's too many scenarios where it's a week 2 must-win game. But I told you I had the numbers for you. You might not want to hear this. Just going to be honest with you, Kyle. If the Lions lose and start 0-2, they have a 11% chance of making the playoffs. If the Lions were to lose to the Ravens then and start 0-3, they have a 2.5% chance of making the playoffs. Only 4 teams have done it since 1990. And let me just ask you, do you think the Lions can beat the Ravens on the road?
I'm not going to say that they have 0 chance to beat the Ravens. You don't feel good about it, but I will never say they have no chance of beating them.
My point is, this is a must-win game for the Lions.
Yes, that's fair. I also will never pay attention to percentages and stuff like that after the Tigers had a 0.2% chance to make the playoffs. So
that's also a great point.